This is Stygion, and in today's video I want to talk about outlasting your haters and naysayers. And I'm going to tell a few stories of some antagonists I had to deal with in my life from time to time. And I have a message to some of these haters at the end of the video. So when I was just first getting started with photography in Houston, one of the people that was recommended to me, and by the way, I'm not going to name any names, but a person was recommended to me to work with, and this person owned a clothing shop in Houston, a fetish clothing shop in Houston, and was producing fetish events. Was something that I wanted to get into. I had reached out to this person, and he blew me off like I was nobody, which was true. I really wasn't anyone. I just wanted to help out and try and learn from this person. But this forced me to have to do my own events, and I worked with some of my friends, and we did a small event called Seductive World, which was a fetish party that took place at the Axiom in downtown Houston, which I think that place closed down a long time ago. This person was not happy that we were doing this party, and his employees or minions, whatever you want to call them, they would remove our flyers off of cars and remove them out of shops. Because back then you had to actually go out and flyer and put your flyers on cars and place them at different shops because it was different. You couldn't rely on online marketing or social media. I don't even think Facebook was around yet. I think MySpace was around. But you really had to get out there and promote your event. And they weren't happy with this. Like I said, they would walk around and remove our flyers off cars and just throw them on the ground. And we caught them doing this, and they just did this in front of us. But the event was a success, a small one. And for the next event, we wanted to go bigger, and we hired Dita Von Teese to headline our next party, which took place at the Mansion on Beverly Hills Drive in Houston. And this was a 3 or 4 story level building. It had an underground section. I believe it's used as a wedding venue now. And Dita Von Teese had just landed on the cover of Playboy, and she was dating Marilyn Manson at the time. So she was just starting to become really popular and known. But her rate was still affordable back then. And once word got out that Dita was headlining our show, there was no stopping that event or sabotaging it. People wanted to see her. And I remember one of the people that helped me with the event, he did a lot of he designed our flyer, and he drove Dita around and some other things. His name was Jonathan Cram. He passed away a few years ago. But one of the things he said to me was that people were going to remember the party for years and talk about it, which was true. And it led to us producing at least another 10 fetish balls throughout the years. And I remember that this person that owned the store, he ended up closing his store, and he stopped doing parties for a while. I remember seeing him at one of our events like 10 or 15 years later, and I caught him in an elevator, and he looked like he was having a really good time with his friends. And I just asked him how his night was going, and he said he was having fun. And I just remember that meant a lot to me. So any ill feelings I had about it had gone away, and I was glad he was having a good time. And on another front, when I was getting started with photography, fetish photography in Houston, there was a photographer that I tried to befriend and learn from. But this person viewed me as competition, and he would actually tell models not to work with me. And he had a friend who ran a gossip site where they would attack different models and photographers and just kind of tear apart their work and make fun of them. I remember he made fun of one of my photographs where I used a saran wrap backdrop, and rightfully so. That doesn't look good, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but it made me step back and look at my pictures and try and become better. But the attacks kept on coming on my work throughout the years. But eventually, he shut down this site. I believe both of these photographers pawned off their equipment and stopped shooting. And one of them, I think they both got entangled in different lawsuits. I think probably for libel for one of them. And you can't even find much of a trace of one of them on the internet. Like, they're just scrubbed off the internet. And when I was around 23, I had wanted to start a magazine. My work was just getting published in different fetish magazines. And the people around me at the time said it was going to be too expensive. You needed a team, you needed office space, you needed money to print in bulk. And I just kind of put the idea off to the side. And 7 or 8 years passed, and I was 30 years old, and one day I just said, I need to get this moving or it's never going to happen. I can't rely on people. No one's going to come to me to want to get a magazine company started. So I started researching graphic design and magazine publishing for at least 6 to 8 months. At this time, there was a company called MadCloud, which is a print-on-demand magazine company where you could design a magazine, upload it as a PDF, and if anyone purchased it, you would get a cut of those sales. So that eliminated the need to print in bulk, which is where a lot of your magazine costs will come from. So it made it much easier to start your own magazine, and that's how I launched Cynical. Around 2010, some friends of mine helped me get those first few issues out. And a few years later, I started Subspace magazine. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was when I was a teenager, I had wanted to be a film director. I was really into movies, and I had made some short films or promo videos and music videos in my 20s, and they were pretty bad. But I got sidetracked for a while when I got involved in the strip club industry as a manager, and my photography work and filmmaking work definitely slowed down. But once I reached my mid to late 30s, after my divorce from my first wife, I got interested in filmmaking again, and I pushed myself to make some short films. And after a few short films, I had told some people I wanted to make a full-length movie, and then again I was told it's going to cost too much, you need a crew, you need financial support, and all these things. It wasn't going to happen for me. But I launched a Kickstarter. I was able to raise enough money to buy the equipment we needed to shoot it, and over the course of a year I worked with some friends of mine and we shot the film on weekends, and we got the film finished. I self-distributed the movie through a service called Film Hub, and the movie is on several platforms now, at least a dozen, such as Tubi and Vudu. And I'm proud of the movie. It's not the greatest, but just making a movie for me was a big deal because it was my Mount Everest goal. And that movie has led to the opportunity to do a series of short films on mental health for the University of Houston and Clear Lake, which I'm very proud of. And that led to another opportunity to where I'm doing photography and filmmaking full time now. So my message and my advice for people who are dealing with haters or naysayers, and my message to my own haters in the past is I wanted to thank them, because whenever someone tells me I can't do something or tries to stop me from doing something, I get excited because that just gives me more motivation to push harder to achieve my goals. And that's what I want to tell people if you're dealing with your own haters, is that just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually you're going to outlast these people. These days, not many people tell me I can't do things because everything I said I was going to do, such as publish a magazine or make a full-length movie, become a full-time photographer and filmmaker, I've accomplished. So you just need to keep at your goals and keep chipping away at them, and hopefully you'll eventually accomplish them.